Good morning. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use the long method for factoring a quadratic. We use this method when we have a number in front of x squared that isn't 1. Okay, so if you have a number here, then you have to use this long method. All right, so we're going to start off with this equation, and my first step every single time is going to be, is there a GCF? And there isn't one. A lot of times there won't be one. So I don't have to worry about step 1. The next step is I'm going to multiply 3 times -8. Now, I'm not too concerned about the negatives and positives. Sometimes people are, but so I can just say 24. 3 times 8 is 24. Don't even worry about the negative for right now. I'm going to list all the factors of 24. This is kind of similar to the way I did it before. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Okay. Now, the signs even are similar to how it was before. This tells me the signs are different. The larger one is negative. So I'm going to put all my negatives, and I'm going to see which combination going straight across is going to get me to -2 right here. Okay, so all of that stuff should look a little familiar. Now is where it gets a little bit different. If you notice, we're all the way down at step 4. We're going to rewrite this polynomial. Okay, so right now it's a trinomial, and we're going to take it from 3 terms to 4 terms. And you'll see why we're going to do this in a minute. Okay, so this first term is the same, 3x squared. And instead of writing -2x, I'm going to use this information. Now, it's easier if you put the negative first. Okay, so I'm going to put -6x plus 4x minus 8. So if you take a look, I just rewrote it. It's the same exact thing. -6x plus 4x is -2x. I didn't really do anything there. I just rewrote it. Okay, but it's really important that you do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into 2 groups. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to pull out the GCF of this. So I'm totally ignoring that for right now. The GCF here is 3x, x minus 2. Now I'm going to look at this side. I'm going to ignore that. What's the GCF here? 2. Now, the great thing about this is you see how these match? That should happen every time, and that's kind of an indication that something's wrong if it doesn't match. So those need to match. If not, you made a mistake somewhere. Okay, and then our final answer is we're going to write the stuff that's on the outside in 1 parentheses. And remember, those are going to match, so I write them down in 1 parentheses. And that's my answer. Okay, we'll try to do the next one a little quicker. I had to do just some explaining in there. So for this one, no GCF. I multiply A and C. List the factors. This tells me the signs are different. The bigger one is negative. Which combination is going to get me to -1? Remember, that's a 1 right there. Rewrite it. Put my negative first. If I have a negative and a positive, put my negative first. Split it in 2. Sometimes this method's called grouping. Find the GCF. Find the GCF. Right. Write the stuff on the outside in 1 parentheses, and they should match, which they do, which means I am on the right track. Okay, and if I foiled that out, I would end up with this. Okay, so let's look at this one. Same sort of steps. And if you want to pause the video and try it yourself, I'm going to kind of rattle through it pretty quickly. This tells me the signs are different and the bigger one's positive. Okay, split it. GCF. Now, if you notice here, you might say to yourself, there's no GCF, there's nothing for me to factor out. You have to factor something out. So go ahead and factor out a 1. And now we write the stuff on the outside. All right, let's look at this one, and this time you'll notice there is a GCF, okay? The GCF is 4, so I'm going to factor out a 4. All right, and now you can use the short method for this and go straight into, you know, the parentheses and then you're done. But I wanted to show you how to do one that you could do it the short way. I want to show you how to do it the long way, just if you're that person that you want to memorize one method. So 1 times 3 is 3. Positive signs are the same. This 4 just hangs out on the side. I'm just going to write all this over here. Split it. My GCF is x. And then the stuff, so this 4 is just going to hang out on the outside, and now I'm going to have my 2 groups of parentheses. Remember how this stuff goes in 1? And that's the same. So that's going to be my final answer. Okay, so this problem over here, I noticed that I didn't have any problems where you had 2 negatives, so I wanted to make sure I did that. So I kind of changed the problem to say 4x squared minus 13x plus 3, okay? There's no GCF for me to pull out. I'm going to multiply 4 times 3, and I'm going to get 12. The factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. This tells me the signs are the same, and they're both going to be negative. Which combination is going to get me to negative 13? This one right here. Now, in the past, I had told you if one of them is negative, put the negative one first, and that is what you should do. Now, in this case, they're both negative, so it doesn't really matter which one you put first. All right, I just put the negative 12 first, but it wouldn't matter. You could have put the negative 1 first. We're going to do the same exact things we did before. Split it. My GCF is 4. Oh, 4x, sorry. Okay, now look here. First of all, you might not see a GCF, but you're going to notice, wait a second, this x is now negative and this is positive. That's because, remember, the inside the parentheses have to match. So what you have to do is you have to factor out a negative 1. If I factor out a negative 1, now the insides match, okay, because they have to match. And that's what will happen. That's why I said, if you get them so they don't match, probably your first one's right and your second one's wrong. Okay, so just double check that.
Teachers and students, please pardon the interruption. All morning show students, please report to the auditorium for pictures. All morning show students, please report to the auditorium for pictures.
All right, I had just two more real quick that I wanted to go through. If you guys want to pause the video, you can. If you look here, I'm going to see what's the GCF, 7. Okay. This tells me my signs are different. The bigger one's negative. Which combination is going to get me to 5? This one right here. Just that 7. You can even, kind of just block that 7 off. Totally ignore it for a second. Put my negative first because it's just going to be easier if I do that. Okay, I'm going to split it down the middle. My GCF here is 3x. Don't have a GCF. I'm going to pull out a 1. 7 just hangs out right there. I notice they match, which is great. So now I have inside my parentheses, and I have to bring that 7 down. Okay, so that is my answer. All right, last one. I feel like we've done a ton today. My GCF is 3x. Okay, just keep this 3x on the outside. Put my 2 over here. 1 and 2, everything's positive. Okay, split it. My GCF is 2x. GCF is 1. So this 3x, I'm just bringing down here. It's just hanging out on the outside. Put my stuff that's on the outside in one parentheses. All right. So hopefully that will help you today when you are practicing factoring when you have an A. Bye-bye.